Join in with Faith First Church, 3357 Rice Mill Road in Macon. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the Word of God. Faith First Church, the Church of Everlasting Faith. Faith.
Even while living 6 feet apart,
bad things can still happen.
If you get in an accident and have been hurt,
call us. We might be able to help you.
The Dozier Law Firm. We've been here and we'll be here for the duration.
Give you the glory.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 980 AM WDDO, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Right.
Ask Elaine. Better ask Elaine. Ask Elaine. Better ask Elaine. Ask Elaine. Better ask Elaine. Ask Elaine. Better ask Elaine.
That might help. Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Ask Elaine. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to this weekly program. We are just so happy to always have you there. And when you're there, we hope that you benefit from the information that we share. We've got a lot of things to share with you today. We welcome you to call in. Our call-in number here at Historic WDDO, the Glory 980 AM, is 478-250-1444. Don't forget, those of you who would like an Ask Elaine fan club button, stop by EL High School Academy in the Northeast Plaza Shopping Center, and you can pick up an Ask Elaine fan club button free of charge. We have calendars, we have campaign information, all of that. So please stop by. Look at what I've got right here. This is, I hope you can see it. This is the Biden-Harris mask. Isn't that great? Biden-Harris mask. And that is great. And I have a Biden-Harris, this way. Yeah, Biden-Harris. And guess what happens tonight on TV? There is the Harris and Pitts debate. And so that debate is going to be one that's well watched, because Vice Presidential candidate Kamala Harris will be debating Vice President Pence, and he's supposed to be all that and a bag of chips. But Harris is a state attorney general from the state of California. She's a former prosecutor. And so I think it will be a good debate. So I'm sure that Pence is taking a few of his nerve pills to get ready for that. And then how's he going to explain? How is he going to explain what is happening as far as this country with 210,000 people who have died of COVID? His boss over there with all the best medical folks there, he's running around all over the place, spreading the virus all over. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? That's going to be real interesting. Y'all give us a call and let us know your thinking on what's happened with the president becoming infected and a carrier and infecting all these other folks and going for a joyride from the hospital. Who does that? Who has an opportunity to be in the hospital and you have the world-class medical folks who lie for you, tell the public what you tell them to tell them, and then you get in the van with the Secret Service agents and you get to ride around and wave at your fans and then go on back around the corner to the to back into the hospital. Who does that? Good afternoon, Ask Elaine. Good afternoon, Ask Elaine. Okay, we'll just click that right off. Maybe they are having some technical difficulties. Those things happen sometimes. But anyway, we welcome your calls to let us know your feelings on the national news, on the state, where things here in Georgia, really, our governor's still tagging along with, these things that are not following the science. The science says that we're in a pandemic. We've got a really serious situation. The one thing that I am grateful for is that in most places, the schools have not just opened totally and allowed our children to become infected in huge numbers. But I do worry about the staffs, the folks who are in schools who are having to deal with this pandemic, who are having to deal with this. You see, entering the studio here is my co-host for today with all her vote stuff on, Miss Diva with the vote on. And you can see her on camera there. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are listening, you can go to Facebook, The Glory Facebook page, and you can see us as we're sitting here and not only listen to us but see us. And my in-studio guest is none other than the diva Kimberlyn Carter. Thank you so much for being here today. It's just 28 days. Yeah, let me see if I've got you on, Kimberlyn. I messed this thing up. Now, I think we got her on. Yeah, I've told them here, don't count on me to do this thing right. This is taking a while, for me, even though it's just buttons,
I know.
But anyway, Kimberlyn, refresh everybody on what you do. Not that you have to, but for those two people who don't know, please tell us.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell us what you do and the newest adventure that you're involved in.
Well, hopefully most people know me. My name is Kimberlyn Carter, born and raised right here in Macon, Georgia, Mactown made. I am a political strategist, entrepreneur, brand strategist, but now my latest venture is sort of moving out of sort of the partisan campaign world, and now I'm the executive director of the Rep Georgia Institute Incorporated and of Represent Georgia Action Network. And we are a leadership development hub. We're statewide. And my job is to find, to recruit, to train, to deploy, and to support a new pipeline of candidates. We were specifically designed to deal with the structural barriers, whether it be race or gender orientation, to really deal with these barriers that keep people from being able to not only build power, access power, but run for office.
Right.
So that is what I'm tasked with.
Okay. So from a practical standpoint, what are you doing in Macon Bibb? I know you're doing this all over the state, but specifically for Macon Bibb, a lot of wonderful things I know that your organization has been involved in already for the benefit of our citizens. So tell us about that.
So Represent Georgia Action Network Incorporated, we sit on something called a C4 table, and it's a table of all of these nonprofits who are 501c4s across the state. So we sent out 2.1 million absentee ballot applications that were already pre-filled and highlighted, because we know that not only are we in a global pandemic thanks to this current administration's lack of attention or care to human beings and to citizens, but we also realize that that we have to begin to integrate what people how people can experience the ballot, and that showing up early or being there on election day, those are not the only ways that people can be able to vote.
Right.
And so so we sent all of these things out, because remember, we had turnout on June 9th across the state that was amazing. Young people, millennials, zennials, all of these young people who received, voted by mail, right? So we were like, we should replicate this. We should replicate this. So we sent them all out, and right now we've gotten in literally 1 million. We have done.
That just warms my
yes, it should. It should, honey, because our people are turning things in.
We used to have to go in neighborhoods. They were threatening to lock us up.
Absolutely.
Trying to register.
Well, they still are.
You're absolutely right. It's just a little different.
Unless you support the other side, then he wants you to vote twice.
Exactly.
But for our side of the world, we sent all of these things out. So right now, if you text Rep Georgia, REPGA, to 484-848, we will send you some information about how you can sign on for our paid phone banking and paid texting program.
Paid to do your civic duty.
Absolutely.
Paid to help.
Absolutely.
Help get the vote out.
We are very cognizant of the economic disparities that people are facing since with all of this going on. We are also aware of the fact that we can't do our normal field programs where we normally pay people to help us do field canvassing, phone, and all these kinds of things. So we've had to shift our mindsets and shift how we build community. So we're asking people to help us to make these phone calls. And it's $15 an hour, and you can sit at home and do it. You can do it from your cell phone.
I know there are a lot of people.
So definitely, text, give us, or go to repgeorgia.org and sign up, and we'll get you set up. It's really very simple.
Yeah. Well, it sounds wonderful.
Well, that's one of the things that we're doing. Okay. And we're also doing something called Souls to the Polls across the state. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do it here.
We got some problems here.
We do, and things that we need to talk about.
We need to get rid of them.
What we have to understand is that voter suppression doesn't always come from one direction. There are all types of different ways that people's access to the ballot can be suppressed.
Right.
And so, and if you would just give me just a little minute on this topic, and I think that what the community needs to understand is that we are fought tooth and nail by the GOP, by all kinds of other folks on the other side, like I say sometimes, who do not want us to have access to the ballot.
Right.
So they see Sunday voting or souls to the polls as a way for us to have some kind of quote unquote advantage, right?
Yeah.
That is the type of rhetoric that they sell to their side. That could not be farther from the truth. Even though we love the idea of pastors with their congregations being able to exercise the franchise together as a family, but we also know that we have working moms, working people, people whose Sabbath is on Saturday and not on Sunday. people who are like, I like my Saturdays, I like my weekdays. When I was in the education field, when I was a teacher, it was hard to early vote.
Mhm.
You know how it goes.
Yeah.
You think, oh, I'm gonna get off, by this time you got bus duty or you got a faculty meeting. And by the time you look up 5:30 is gone, you can't. Saturdays, and if you, depending on what level of school you're teaching, you could be doing stuff on Saturdays, or you just want to be with your kids and your family and do things. So Sunday voting helps people to be able to experience it in a lot of different ways.
Right. And any excuse will do is what I say. Any excuse. When we had the Sunday voting resolution before our commission here, I introduced it. And it was to support the Board of Elections in their quest to have additional early voting sites. And there will be 3 of them.
And that's exciting.
Starting October 12th. And that is great. We applauded them and wanted to say, this is just great, just great. We're supporting you. And we're also appropriating almost $500,000 to your budget to help you to implement these. So people will be able to vote early at the Board of Elections, 2525 Pine Avenue.
Yes.
They'll be able to vote at the Elaine H. Lucas Senior Center.
Hello, somebody.
In the Carolyn Creighton Park, Central City Park. And they'll also be able to vote at Theranossery Park on the north side.
Yes.
And in the future, there will be some other satellites. That was wonderful. That was one of the things we supported. The second thing was additional drop boxes. And I think your organization is responsible for additional drop boxes. Tell us about that.
So I'm a part of something called the Dropbox Initiative, and the House of the Department of Homeland Security warned us that one Dropbox needed to be present per 15,000 citizens. And so here in Macon, where we have nearly 150,000 people, we only had one Dropbox. And so I have been working with election supervisors across the state of Georgia with other colleagues and other organizations, talking, asking, what can we do to support you? What do you need? Are you having difficulty finding another location? Things of that nature. Because once again, any barrier to people being able to exercise their right to vote is suppression, right? It is suppression. It is denial of people being able to exercise this very, very precious right to vote. And this is Fannie Lou Hamer week. She is my, she is just an ancestor that cloaked, that I feel cloaked in all the time.
She would tell you where to go.
Hello? You better believe it. You better believe it.
She was something.
So you nor I nor anybody that's sitting in these black bodies of black women can do anything but try to make sure that people are able to vote. And so that is, so I was like,
that is just
I was like,
great.
I will be in this Dropbox initiative. I'll do whatever we can. So then we got this tech and civic life organization out of DC to invest $250 million into the state. And so our beloved Janetta Watson, our election supervisor, she has put in for that grant.
I think she's been approved.
These are strings-free grants. And whatever you need to do, you can, whatever you need to do to help to supplement. So on top of the amazing supplement that our Bibb County commissioners, with the exception of one, who I wanted to be muted and removed. With the exception of one, the rest of you on the commission did the right thing to try and help our citizens to be able to access the ballot more. And we have more ballot boxes coming across. I even talked to the election supervisor over in Jones County the other day, and she talked about some of the challenges that she was even having, shared that information with her, Johnson County, Doherty, just all over the state. I've been talking, to folks. And even when people told me, don't call her child, she is she's a dyed in the wool transport, and I tell people all the time, I have friends on every side of the political spectrum. And the work that I have been called called to do, the calling that I know over my life, I don't care who they support. I'm going to be standing there strong for my people
it's the
and
issue.
for the right to vote.
It is the issue. And that's what I tell folks. They ask me, well, you voted along with Joe Allen, or you voted with Valerie Wynne or Mallory Jones, who are staunch conservatives and Trumpers and all of that. And they ask me, how could you? It's the issue. If it's something that's going to benefit everybody, I don't care who it is that's proposing it.
Right.
If Lester Miller, who, well, he's already got strike one against him, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyway, if Lester Miller has as the newly elected mayor when he is sworn in, he's not mayor yet. Somebody ought to tap him on the shoulder and tell him he's not mayor yet. Those of you who are listening, and I know some of you Trump folks are listening in, some of you Miller folks. So tell him he's not mayor yet. And I said it. He's not mayor yet. So he can't be sending messages to our department heads, getting them all upset, talking about he's evaluating them for 90 days. He's not going to be sworn in for 90 days. Then that's when you start your stuff. That's when your term begins. But anyway,
and let's be very clear that we live in the United States of America, and that part of what makes us different from China and North Korea and even Cuba is the peaceful transition of power.
Exactly.
So
at the appropriate time.
Well, absolutely.
Yes.
At the appropriate time, as already outlined in our charters and things of this nature. So this is the same issue that we are having with the Trump administration right now. Already saying, we may leave, we're going to have to see how this goes before we go. And all this type of stuff.
I want to volunteer right now to be on the detail to help him to leave. I would be glad to do
intimidation tactics. So what I would be expecting of a mayor-elect for this community is the first thing you need to be talking about is community safety. I mean, looking at COVID and the fact that we are seeing instead of the curve flattening is actually going back up. We're seeing new cases coming up in this particular area. So if there's anything that that we may be happy to hear that you're concentrating on is what does 2021 look like for our community?
Need to be reading the charter, reading the books, so you find out what your job duties are and what they are not, so that you're ready and you don't look silly out there doing and talking about stuff. The newly elected ones, the ones who will be on the commission, where the mayor is a commissioner too. Many people don't see that. Absolutely. But there are 10 commissioners, the mayor, and then there are 9 others. So everybody needs to be, my advice to the newly elected folks who are waiting to be sworn in December is to read the charter. Find out what's going on. Talk to people. Talk about their concerns so that you can build a true agenda for this community. Don't go down there sending emails or whatever it is telling folks they're under evaluation when you have no power to evaluate them until you are sworn in. And then you don't have access to folks' personnel files as a you're elected, but you haven't been sworn in. You don't have access to folks' personnel files until you are actually in the office. So there are a lot of reasons that people are talking about, he just wants to be ready. When you get ready, when you get in the seat.
Let me say this. That's in 2016, after Donald Trump was elected, if you can remember, he was still running the talk show circuit, and he was on there already naming and talking about people who were working in the Obama administration, what things that he was going to overturn, what things he was going to be doing executive orders on, and all this kind of stuff. So all I have to say once again to the citizens of my hometown is that we elected this person, and I say we because I still vote here, even though I live in 3 different places, but I still vote here. But we elected this person to serve in this capacity, and what that means is that we hired the person. And because we hired the person, we get to keep them under consistent evaluation.
Exactly.
We need to speak truth to them whenever it is necessary. We need to show up whenever, and so forth and so on. But these are the tactics that we have grown to expect from a certain political party, people who are Trump supporters. These are some of the things that they do. Brian Kemp did the same thing when he was transitioning after Governor Deal. So this is part of what they do. I served partially on a piece of the transition portion of the Obama administration. It was all very far away from anything that had to do with the actual acting government. Everything was done externally, far away, no interruption of the day-to-day work of other people. Many of those people, as you can tell, were still there even during the Trump administration. There were no intimidation tactics, scaring people who were close to retirement, putting people, you're getting close to Christmas, even though we're getting ready to have a COVID Christmas, but who wants to be worried about, a job around that time?
Well, that is my point, Kimberlyn.
These are the tactics.
My point.
Those are the tactics I expected when I didn't vote for the person.
Yes,
and I don't expect too much more.
But I am here to say, as one who is elected, and I called on my fellow commissioners and the mayor to stop this person from doing things that are unethical, that our morale is already suffering because of COVID and because of uncertain work schedules and all of that. We don't need to dump anything else on our already overworked department heads and our department heads who know that when a new administration comes in, then they become under an evaluation, and they could or could not be continued in that position. Everybody knows that.
And this is, Commissioner Lucas, this is the other reason why we need you to vote up and down the ballot.
All the way.
We don't need you to skip anything, because some of the things that happen in our communities can actually be handled in the General Assembly, where we have our beloved State Senator David Lucas, and we have other people under the Gold Dome, because Georgia is an at-will work state, and we're never going to change that until we can flip that Gold Dome. We have more people who are sitting in those seats who care about working people, and who do not care about the contractor class, the wealthy class, status quo, all that kind of thing. People who are invested in you having less than them all the time. We don't talk about that enough, but that's where this is about to go. And that is why I don't care where I go. I train citizens on how to go find campaign disclosures, whether they be federal, whether they be state, or whether they be local, because you need to know who is funding people who represent you.
And we're going to do a separate show on that, because I've got you already scheduled, and we're going to do some shows. You're going to get some information, folks.
You need to know who you're working for.
Let's go to this ballot. But I want to say, welcome to Ask Elaine. This is your talk and information program that comes your way on historic WDDO, The Glory, 980 AM, every Wednesday from 3 to 4. We're glad to have you there. And you've got two talking divas, two talking women on here today. And we hope that you gain a lot of information from it. We are so happy that those who are listening, the numbers are growing. Every week they tell us that the numbers are growing. When people found out that we were back on, they said, oh boy, now I'm going to set that radio to that, and it will be there so that I can get my information. And we try to I tell people, if I'm in that room as your elected representative, if I'm there and I hear it, and if it's legal to come tell, I'm gonna come and tell you and let you know. And
Absolutely.
that's what this program is all about. We want to give a big shout out to Black Voters Matter,
Yay!
which is an
Yes.
organization, and they were profiled the other night on MSNBC.
Yes,
I
yes.
wake up and go to sleep on MSNBC.
You and my mom.
MSNBC, and so they were profiled, and they've got the big black bus, the blackest bus in America, and they are going all over.
And they're coming to Macon.
And they're coming to Macon, and they have the baby buses now
Yes,
too,
yes,
the
yes,
smaller
yes,
ones that
yes.
they can deploy all over, where they can come in and help with leading caravans. They've already
Yes.
done one with A. Philip Randolph Institute. We were a part of that, and it was just great. We went to all the number of the housing projects, but they are an organization that's not only done the talking, but they've done the walking. They're putting resources in communities so we can take care of business.
Absolutely. They are one of my partners.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take this call.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Ask Elaine.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing just great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I cannot complain.
Oh, no, doesn't do any good to complain.
No, ma'am, it does not.
How are you
No,
today?
ma'am, I'm doing good. I can't complain. I'm just enjoying the show.
Well, good. We're glad.
Yes.
What did you think of your president spreading the virus all over everybody? And the poor Secret Service agents had to be locked. They were locked up in the van, riding around, and his butt in there with a little mask on, just breathing virus all. I felt so sorry for them. And then just think, in the White House, when he went back and stood up there and preened for the camera, then all those poor folks that are service people in the White House, who's protecting them? And you look at all of those 20 plus that have been infected, and who knows how many more we don't know about. But the folks who have no recourse, they gotta go work. Doing the food, cleaning up, they got to be there. Where's their protection? And that is, and then 250,000 people have died. Their families would have loved to have had the kind of health care free that we're paying for, the latest medical techniques, everything, convoys, fans outside waving. Their relatives couldn't even see them.
You know, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because as we are sitting here in this space at WDDO, which has been in my life since I can remember, you know, my heart goes out to the Cotton family, a family a family who has literally built the pillars of faith in this community, and everything that they have endured in this global pandemic. But I can remember, you know, Greater Overcoming Church of God, the Bishop Jail, Cotton, being on WDDO, the convocations, the convening of all of the amazing believers in the community coming over, and I can just see him marching in with Mother, and so we have lost so many people. You know, 4 years ago, when 4 years ago, when this president asked us as Black people, what do we have to lose? Everything.
Everything.
Yeah. And so, you know, and caller, did you have a question for me or Commissioner?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Commissioner Lucas, and I adore her. You know, to being our voice.
He's such a nice young man.
I cannot stress that enough. You know, for her being our voice. And in our community in the city of Macon, Georgia, I have a concern about the farmers market. And they talking about closing the farmers market, and we have so many people. By me being working there, you know, on weekends, and sometimes I just ask the people just to here they come in. I ask them, where are you from? Mm-hmm. And the response that I get from where they are from, some come as far from Savannah, Georgia. Some come from Milledgeville, Savannah, Georgia, Milledgeville, Forsyth, Atlanta. I mean, we got people that coming from all over to come to the farmers market in Macon, Georgia.
Yes.
And we have concerns about the future of the farmers market because it is a big convenient for a lot of people. You know, on weekends they come on. You know, they come through the week, but especially being on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Right, and there are a lot of businesses that are located out at the farmers market too. And so we've been hearing something that with the budget cuts that Macon's farmers market is going to be closed, that there will be a few things left on the site, but that it will be closed, and then a couple of others. But as I told you, you know, we're going to kind of consult with Senator Lucas and see what he can find out about it. And there may be a possibility.
I would like for him to do something else for us. I need you to be the mouthpiece in the community, because there are 3 separate entities that impact a successful business environment in our communities. Right. Number one, at the federal level, we have a president and a Senate majority leader named Mitch McConnell who have refused to give another stimulus to businesses throughout this global pandemic. And not only this farmers market, but farmers markets all over the country. Our farmers, period, have suffered through this global pandemic. So we need to be, you know, bombarding our U.S. senators' offices and their offices, calling them saying, pass a bill, pass a stimulus package. At the state level, we actually have a Georgia Department of Economic Development. They are designed to create entities, programs, and processes that help to support business across the state of Georgia. That's what our taxpaying dollars pay for them to do. But see, when the other party gets into the governor's office, he gets to put people in that place who will protect the business interests of people who have funded him. That's just the real of it. You know, and Commissioner didn't invite me to be anything but real on here. And then coming down to the local level, you have an industrial authority, you have a chamber of commerce. As a matter of fact, we have this new urban economic authority, as well as planning and zoning. And those 3 entities are supposed to be working together to build a healthy business infrastructure in our community. That is their job. They are not there to make the people who are already wealthy wealthier. They are not there to protect contractors who get the same contracts all the time. They are not there to deny minority contractors the opportunities to bid on some of these same things. So when you're out in the community and you're having these conversations with people, let's make sure that our people understand that the blame goes from the rooter to the tutor all the way to the White House. For the condition that we are in.
And that's great information. And we are going to have that conversation with Senator, and then I will maintain contact with you. And as Kimberlyn says, you've got to motivate other folks to speak up, because we don't have nearly enough. You know why? People in certain areas get more stuff done than our communities get done, Black communities and poor communities, because we don't call. We don't write a letter. We don't write an email. We text all day long, but we will not do an email or a text message to these folks saying, I want this done in my community because I'm a taxpayer too. We don't do that. I just passed by an electric line over near the credit union by Miller. That line has been hanging down almost to the ground. I've just waited to see if it was going to be fixed. That line, electric line, I hope it's not live, but I mean, something running through it, you know. But it's got little red flags hanging off of it. It's been like that 3 months. Do you think on Wesleyan Drive, on Forsyth Road,
It's not.
do
No,
you
ma'am, it's
think
not.
that would
No, ma'am.
now? I've been tempted to turn it in to ask, why is this obviously dangerous thing hanging down here, children passing by and all of this stuff? I've been tempted to do it, but I thought, surely they're going to do it. Surely they're going to do it. I drive down through the road that comes through Central High School. That road is the worst road, but there are some roads in this community that have been paved 2 or 3 different times.
Yes, ma'am,
and that street has not been. Why? Because I think part of it is because there's not a caring for everybody in the community. But the other thing is we don't vote, and we won't let people know that what is our right and that we're demanding to have that done for us. And until we start doing, and then we go and vote for somebody who's going to be our poll. It's a line. It's either cable line or it's an electric line or there is some kind of line, and it's 2 blocks. It's hanging almost 2 blocks long, and it's got little orange flags hanging off of it, letting folks know there's danger. It's obvious there's some danger. You shouldn't touch this. But children, anybody could touch it. It's hanging that low. Let me ask you something. Why is that allowed to be there that long? Now, tomorrow I'm going to call it in because that's too long. And I'm tired of it. And I hate for there to be a news story that somebody has gotten hurt with it. But that is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Now, let me ask you this. I know that we have C-Click Fix, which I detest. But do we do the 311, 311 here?
I don't
think so.
I don't think so. They do the 811 when you're digging. You have to, that's just. And so in Atlanta, we have something, because I claim these different places home too. We have something called 311, and it is a citizen customer focused number. They have it in New York and in Charlotte, a bunch of other cities, because everybody doesn't have access to the internet. We can't all see Click Fix, but I can 311 on a landline, on my cell phone, and be able to report different things. Young man, I don't know if you have a pen with you, but I'm going to give you a number. It's 202-224-3121. That's the number to the U.S. Senate. You can call there. They're going to ask you what your zip code is. You put your zip code in, and you tell them pass a bill, pass a stimulus bill. And we have two U.S. Senate races on the current ballot. And we're going to get to that. That's the next thing. Caller, thank you so very much for calling. We do love you.
I love you all too, and continue to be an advocate for the community.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. You have a good day. All right. Bye.
Yes, man, you all do the same.
All right. Bye.
Okay, Kimberly, let's get to this. And that information that you just gave out, we're going to try and have a few minutes to give it out one more time.
Absolutely.
Because other people need to be writing it down
and
too.
Call.
It's amazing what that does.
Yes.
When we have had issues locally, and the Georgia women and those who love them or whatever the group is, one thing that they do, if they're advocates for an issue, they will send those emails, because we got over 100 of them for the mask mandate, and we've gotten a number of them for other issues.
I'll come back another. I'll come back another day on that, because you and I can talk about.
I pull out the things I like, and the rest of it I leave it alone.
You and I can talk about very comfortably the movement, the women's suffrage movement. when white women were given the right to vote, Black women, Asian women, and Native American women were not given the right to vote. So when we talk about Sojourner Truth standing and saying, "Ain't I a woman too?" it was affirming that even us women in our Black bodies have voice that should be heard.
I'm so glad you're on this.
And even when we got to the 70s with the feminist movement, Angela Davis and Dr. Maya Angelou and Bell Hooks and so many of our past ancestors and current ancestors had to remind white women that the intersections of race and class were still at the table. And that we can't have an equality of womanhood without an equality of Black
That's
womanhood.
right. Is Reverend Raphael Warnock going to be in Macon? Tell us briefly about that, because now we got to talk about the sample ballot.
We're still working on it because he is waiting to hear from some pastors.
Okay.
So that's why I told him, to hold off on calling, because he's still waiting to hear from some pastors. So pastors, Macon, Bibb County pastors, answer your phone. Reverend Warnock is calling.
Now, Reverend Warnock is in this battle for the Senate. You've seen the commercials.
Yes.
He's in a store in Savannah where he grew up. And then there's another one where he's walking along in the project where he grew up. And then he fast forwards to himself now as the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, Dr. King's church in
But you know what else is amazing about this particular special U.S. Senate race is that there are 7 Black women. Who are on that ballot.
Hold on, let's take this call.
Good afternoon, Ask Elaine.
Good afternoon.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful. This is Alicia Wright calling from Macon Bibb County Health Department.
Yes. We always have our health department. Tell us quickly how we doing. Y'all are always doing something. I'm on the Board of Health, so I get a chance to see these reports that they just have wonderful reports of activities. They do. They're doing a drive-through. Go ahead and tell us what's going on with Macon Bibb Health.
Yes, we want to encourage everyone that need their flu shot. We will be hosting drive-through flu clinic on tomorrow from 9 to 2. And we also will turn around the next week, that Wednesday on October the 14th, we will be hosting another off-site flu shot clinic with the Macon Transit Authority.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Everyone to come out and get their flu shots if they can't make it tomorrow.
Because now with COVID out there and the flu season coming, you want to be protected. If your immune system is where it needs to be now, you go ahead and get that flu shot. I get one every year. I try to serve as a model, and I post my picture of a few years ago when I was getting flu shot at City Hall, because I want to encourage people to make sure they get that flu shot.
Critical this year.
I get a little bit of it, but then I don't get sick like I did one year. That convinced me to get that flu shot. You don't want that. There are many people that die from the flu every year. So you want to do that. Let me let you go ahead and finish your report, because we want to get all of this information.
Yes, so in addition to flu shots, we also know it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We also want to encourage everyone to call and schedule their appointment, because we're actually doing free breast exams on October the 16th. So anyone, regardless of your ability, whether you're insured, uninsured, underinsured, you can come in and get that free breast exam. It's especially for our women that are 40 and older. And we do have programs here. Say if you're underinsured or you don't have insurance.
I got my tires. I like to say, Alicia, I got my tires flattened just the other week. I went and got the mammogram. I call it tire. My sister calls it tire flattening, and it is. But I had a new one It's a 3D.
Yeah, I had both as well.
One, and it detects if you have certain kind of tissue and that kind of stuff.
I had 2.
And so I had, and I had that other one, which was quite interesting. But I like for the doctors, the folks who read the film, I like for them to tell me you're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
That's what you want to hear. That's why you go and take these tests. You don't wait. You don't let anything stop you. And men need to get better at that too, because our men die because they have this macho thing about certain tests.
Right.
But we gotta prevention is so much better. Go ahead and finish.
Can I ask her just a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
Because I do have cancer survivors in my family, but not necessarily breast cancer. How I ended up being able to get the regular mammography and a 3D is because of my family history, and I actually got my first mammogram when I was 30 something years old, because my grandmother had bone cancer. My grandfather had cancer, and we've had different cancers. So are we still advising people, even if they are under 40 years of age, but have a history of cancer, or their mom had breast cancer? How are we advising them? Do we ask them to take the test, or do we just still want them to be doing the at-home self-exams?
So if you have a family history, we do advise you to continue doing the self-exams at home. So everyone's family history is different. So we do advise them to get that primary care service. Even if they come here to the health department, we have our nurse practitioners here can also provide them with that medical guidance, because we do primary care services here at the health department as well, and make sure that they're getting those exams exactly when they need to get them based on the family history. So when they come in for these breast exams here, we do have a process where they're in the room with the nurse, and that nurse goes through all of their family history. It has nothing to do with it being free, but they go through the family history, and they provide them with that medical advice before they walk out of the building.
Oh, that's
wonderful.
That is great. Many folks die at a younger age because they put off. They don't feel like they have the resources to go and get. They're fearful, and so any procedure or test is, some anxiety, but I want to hear them say, you're okay. And that's what you want to hear them say. And then when they say they aren't able to say you're okay, they can say you're not okay, but we have something we can do for you. Absolutely. And so we're going to be talking about breast cancer during, and
thank you for everything you do at the health department.
Yeah, and Macon Bibb is going to declare this entire month. I've asked for a resolution to spotlight what's going on as far as breast cancer, and it's something that I hope will shine a light on what all of you in the field are doing to stem this tide of breast cancer, especially in certain groups of folks. Do you have other things going on?
That is all what's happening.
Well, that's a lot. How many masks have y'all? Tell them the number of masks that y'all have given out.
We have given out over 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so we do have another upcoming. It's called Operation Mask Goes Pink on October the 24th. So we will be back at the Tubman having another drive-through event, and we're gonna pink out the Tubman, and we're gonna provide those face masks as well as other resources from other healthcare agencies that have programs and stuff, because we all work together collectively as a unit.
Yes, this has been a wonderful community collaborative on COVID and on the mask and all of that. It's been great. Thank you so much for your call, and thank you so much for the work that you and your team do to bring health and healthier activities to this community. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. I hope to speak with you again soon.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay,
so I have some data
wonderful.
for you. So
Okay.
over 1.4 million Georgia voters have requested their absentee ballot, which means 33% of the overall 4.5 million voters projected this cycle have already requested to vote by mail.
When you get that absentee ballot, do it, complete it.
Right.
If you need some help, ask somebody, get it completed and get it back in as quickly as you can.
And in alignment, 60% of them are Democrats. 57.5% of them are women. And voters under 35 have increased their share of absentee vote up by 10% this year. So we have almost already had probably close to the number of people that voted June 9th.
That is wonderful.
Already voted.
That's wonderful. Good afternoon, Ask Elaine.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Lucas and Jen.
How are you?
How are you? I am awesome. First of all, I want to start out by saying, get out and vote, people. You see what's going on.
Yeah.
Get out and vote.
Yeah.
Vote.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to say what you're voting for. Get out there and vote, because the Republicans are definitely not afraid of saying who they're going to vote
That's right.
for.
And they take them on the stick, on the wheelchair. They roll them in. They whatever. They're going to roll them.
Yes. And my second thing is, I want to say, make sure you go and get your mammogram done. Get it done, people.
Yeah.
People get it done. I had one done. I had the 3D one done last month. And let me tell you something. Went in there thinking, oh, God, I'm a healthy 58-year-old black woman. You know, don't feel no pain, don't feel nothing. Ain't nothing wrong with my breast. But lo and behold, God will give you a test to give you a testimony.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer, and it is no joke.
Yeah.
You know, that's good that it was caught early, but somebody might go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might go, and it may not be that way. And you can get help early versus waiting till it's too late and it's spread everywhere.
That's
so make sure, just like the young lady just said, if you don't have insurance, if you got insurance, please come out and get this done.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is something that we as black women and black men need to take heed to. Black men don't think that
we're going to talk about black men and men, period. We're going to talk about that in another on another show, because that's a whole nother show about and we'll talk about the signs, the symptoms. We're going to be talking some of the weeks about the different kinds of foods that will help your body. Right now, I have decided that I'm gonna do the gummies, because that big old horse pill.
You sound like my mom.
Anyway, I'm doing the gummies, the multivitamins. I'm doing B, C, D, and I'm looking for some zinc. Does zinc come in gummies?
No, but the pills aren't that bad.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
gotta find me some zinc.
I order my zinc online.
I just wanted to say that, but y'all have a wonderful
rest of
and we just want to say to you, we are speaking and declaring full restoration.
Oh yeah.
Over you.
Yeah.
We are speaking full healing over you.
Yeah.
And we can't wait for you to call us with your next praise report. That is what we are believing on your behalf, dear sister. In the name of Jesus.
All right.
Yes, Lord.
Thank you. Bye. All right. That's wonderful.
Okay. And the 42.25% are black.
Okay. Okay. All right. For president.
And you got to tell the people what my shirt says.
It says Kamala.
Okay.
Kamala. Because everybody, they call that woman Kamala, 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 whatever. But it's Kamala. Tonight, everybody's going to be saying it right.
First time in the history of the United States of America, a black woman will stand before this nation as the vice presidential Democratic nominee to debate the current vice president to make the case that it is time, America, for a Black woman to be in executive leadership.
I'm excited about it. I just can't wait. I'm going to be on that sofa and
I'm eating Jamaican food and Indian food tonight. I'm going to a Jamaican restaurant and an Indian restaurant in Macon tonight.
I'm going to eat something. Okay, this ballot now. We have sample ballots, y'all. We have these sample ballots, and our time is running out, but we have sample ballots. We have them. They're over at the Democratic headquarters on Georgia Avenue. I have them at EL High School Academy, and we want to say hello to our super volunteers, Ms. Joyce Gray Humphrey and Miss Mary Jane Glover. Yeah, your cousin. You got cousins everywhere. Kim,
that's what my mama
cousins too.
And that's
but anyway, if you want a sample ballot, stop by. We have Biden signs, stop by. We have buttons, we have masks, all of those things. You can get them at 2 locations. And then this weekend, there's going to be waving out on Vival Avenue and I think at Pinehonor Avenue for Biden Harris. So
it's a party at the polls, y'all. It's a party at the polls, y'all.
Tonight with Kamala Harris as she beats up on Mike Pence. I can't wait. Wait. Thank you so much for tuning in to Ask Elaine. And I want to thank my co-captain here, Kimberly Carter, for being here as always. I hope that you learned something today. So tune in again next week for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 980 AM WDDO, Perry, Macon.
There's a storm out on the ocean, and it's moving this way. If it's so now, anchored in Jesus, you will surely drift away. Help you sing. There's a storm, on the ocean, and it's moving this way. If your soul now, anchored in Jesus, you will surely drift away.